Hey guys, welcome back to Igno Studios. We got back from watching Blue Beetle in theaters, and this is going to be an hour long, like our usual videos are. We kind of figured out a system as the time we've been offline of this channel for the bit. When it comes to longer videos, those will be more discussion based and hypothetical stuff. We have a lot of things planned, but we'll try to get to what we can as time goes on. So Blue Beetle, there was a lot of mid hype going into this film, as well as the marketing for it all. Because once it was announced, there was like an uproar of hype saying, "Oh, we got Blue Beetle finally," and it turned a lot of people away. Also, as time went on for DC, because DC has recently been going on a decline as movies go.
Yeah, and understandably, people were skeptical in terms of that.
Yeah, but Blue Beetle, we held out a little bit of hope. Thought it was going to be entertaining, as this character is. Fun. What we were excited about was the main lead doing Blue Beetle. I forget how
Jaime Reyes.
Yeah, for Jaime. I forget how to say his name, but I'm not gonna try. But he's one of the main leads for Cobra Kai. He's Miguel from Cobra Kai.
So there's some familiarity.
So
and he was easily one of the best parts about it.
His performance in this film was one of the main things praised, which we're gonna just get into. We'll give our thoughts, what we liked about the film, what we didn't like, the usual deal.
Yeah.
And spoiler warning, just in case if you haven't seen the movie, we'll just bring up some spoilers. We'll try to avoid it as best we can.
Yeah.
But if it comes up, it comes up, and we'll just deal with it. But spoiler warning is there. So one of the things I thought I was gonna not like was the CG in this film. I thought it was not gonna be very well done.
Based on not just DC's recent track record, but movies, and especially superhero movies and shows within recent times, have really underperformed within the CG realm. And this one we were a little skeptical with.
And we will put a video out for Flash. I know we're a little late on that one, but we will. But we saw Flash before this one, and I'm pretty sure it's mean to hell already.
Yeah.
Also, apologies for the light setup.
Yeah.
Some of the lights kind of don't work with us when we put on the main one, so we had to put the hallway light. So if you complain about the glare, that's why.
Yeah.
So this is where a setup really helps, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't have that money. We don't have that YouTube money yet.
Oh, God. No.
That's not that funny.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. Back to the topic.
As you all know, superhero movies have had an over-reliance on CGI.
I wouldn't say just an over-reliance, but
Because you can have, Way of the Water, its CG is phenomenal.
Yeah.
it has to be at this time of day.
Yeah, but in general, CG, it doesn't matter if you're an over-reliance or not. It matters if you do it right.
Yeah.
And this is an argument I've used. I'm not going to bring it up ever again unless it's something I'll bring up later. It's my argument with, like I say, a rated R for a superhero movie. Like, people automatically think that a R rating would make, for example, Venom or Morbius better. I'd say it's how you do it. And a rated R would just give them more freedom to do more stuff. Thus, could potentially make it better, or it could just make it worse due to the, like, say, gore fest or crude jokes.
Yeah.
It's how you use it, and CGI is the exact same way. It's how you use it, and if I'm not mistaken, the Blue Beetle suit was practical mainly. If I'm not mistaken,
other than some fight scenes here and there,
with some of the obvious, CG fights, it's CG. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it was mainly practical.
It was a practical suit, which
I guess honestly, a practical suit always makes it seem better. I mean, look at the failure that is Green Lantern.
Yeah,
the whole. Like
all of that suit was CG, and
besides the mask coming off of Jaime, and that's CG obviously, but
and the first transformation,
which is
terrifying.
So we'll bring I lost my train of thought. Someone else, please.
First off, let's start with the acting.
Well, we'll start with the CG because that's what we brought up.
Right.
Because we came in with low expectations for CG. I mean, even from the trailer, the CG looked fine. But I mean, Flash's CG in the trailer, besides some specific scenes, looked fine. This one, the CG actually turned out very well, and for a lot of scenes, it seemed like they didn't use CG, and that could have been because of how good the CG was, or they went with more practical stuff anyways. Right. But even some of the fight scenes that were CG, or they used CG things, they felt real enough that it didn't really throw me out of the movie at all.
And there was a lot of great stunt work in a lot of these fight scenes.
Oh yeah.
There was more practical stunts, as in not just a CG mess. There is CG obviously for like the weapons and stuff. For a lot of the hand-to-hand combat in this movie, it was mainly a great stunt work too. We gotta give it props to the main lead because he worked on Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
and
I love how he translated from Cobra Kai and what he learned from that into Blue Beetle.
Yeah, Grace brought this up when we saw the trailer as well as when watching the movie. The font for Blue Beetle's title is the exact same as Cobra Kai,
which I thought was like
that was intentional. I bet it was intentional,
or super coincidental.
If it was coincidental, that's the biggest coincidence I've ever seen.
Yeah. Honestly, the title and the feel of the movie can kind of give me like an 80s vibe.
It gave you a lot of like. I guess you could say retro in a way.
It kind of gave me a little bit more 90s vibe, like, well, story-wise, too, because it's more family-esque.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and the villain is a full-on villain.
Yeah.
No sappy backstory for this one.
Well, one of the villains, because there's two main villains.
Yeah. For the main villain, they try to like, I had a reason for this, but it's a selfish reason. We don't care.
Yeah.
You lost. We applaud this. We applaud. And also, this is just a lesson to superhero movies in general. Not every villain needs a sympathetic backstory.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Infinity War is great. It's a fantastic movie. I'm just going to bring this up real quick. But Thanos being sympathetic, as people would call it, I don't buy that. What I could say is we understand how he feels and what his mission is, but to call him sympathetic is a big stretch in my eyes. So that's my take on it. If you think he's sympathetic, that's completely fine. But to me, that's not sympathetic. Here in the main villain in this one is a full-on villain. She gave me like old Disney villain vibes of how scummy she was.
She just did not care.
She had no morals, no ethics. She makes Amanda Waller seem nice.
Yeah, and that's saying something because Amanda Waller.
We don't talk about Amanda Waller.
I mean, it could be compared to like the fucking High Evolutioner from Guardians 3,
which we will do a video on.
Yeah, because we watched that one recently too.
So we have a lot of things planned. So yay! So I'm happy. So. With the CGI out of the way, it's not perfect. I mean,
you can see lapses.
Some of the best CGI I've seen is probably Avatar, because that's mainly mocap and everything, and the Legendary Pictures Godzilla series, the MonsterVerse Godzilla movies. That CGI is god tier, no pun intended, but it is godlike.
Then there's the Transformer films.
With the Transformers films, they kind of lapse. Some look amazing. They look real. Some they just kind of look like it's a PlayStation 4 cutscene,
which isn't bad.
It's not bad, but like
anyway,
but yeah. In this movie, it was very colorful. There was a lot of colors in this movie.
Yeah,
a lot of the DC.
Vibrant.
This gave me Shazam vibes. Haven't seen the second Shazam. It's a toss up for me if I want to go if I see it or not.
Yeah.
But it gave me like the first Shazam vibes. It was friendly. It was colorful. It was just an all around good time.
Until that ending, which we'll get into, but that ending was dark.
The ending deals with that. It goes kind of. it kind of it sugarcoats it because of the themes of the movie and just how it's expressed. But if you actually just look at it, like just from the broad strokes of everything, not with the themes or anything, we'll talk about. We'll talk about it. That would be like the one spoiler we'll talk about, and some others. But the CG was fine. It worked very well. One of my favorite CG scenes was when if you've seen it in trailers and in the movie, when Jaime transforms into the Blue Beetle, when the suit forms. First of all, it is terrifying as hell.
It is.
Imagine you start gaining a superpowered suit with your family, and it's like feeling like a parasite on you.
Yep.
That gave me like Conjuring vibes.
It gave me like Venom and the like comics and
Spider-Man 3. That was oof. Evil Dead, not Conjuring. Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like the Venom symbiote, and like that was it was horrifying.
Yeah.
And your family screaming their lungs out, and just
while you're bouncing all over the place.
Just my face was, this is a superhero, right? And his whole like when the suit takes control and starts flying him all over the place. I thought the shot when he's in space was beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, that was a great shot.
But I'm not gonna bring this up again, but it reminded me of the first Iron Man movie when he tested out the Mark II.
And he tried to go into space,
In my opinion, probably one of the greatest superhero sequences in Marvel history.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But another one of the production parts is the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack.
The sound design.
Sound design. The music itself was like a synth, like retro, like 80s, 90s, like synth vibes. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it was like it wasn't rock or anything like that. It was just a lot of the cool noises, like
EBM,
EBM, something like that. It was like, but it was very cool, very sci-fi. It fit with the motif, and but yeah, that's my thoughts on the music. I thought the music was great, especially the main theme.
It just really matched with the movie. Is really what it came down to.
I want to say the art direction too was really cool. I thought the first of all the suit. Again, it's practical, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, I think that's honestly one of the best suits we've gotten out of Marvel or DC in a while.
And the crazy thing is, it's not overly designed. It just fits.
And
Marvel,
it's comic accurate, too.
I'll give DC, in spite of their declining movies, I will say that their costume design are on point.
Almost always, yeah.
Black Adam suit was great. Dr. Fate had probably the best design in the movie.
Yeah.
Even Hawkman.
Yeah.
Even though man wanted fade and got his ass whooped, his costume design was top tier.
It was.
Adam Smasher.
Again, all DC's comic outfit costume designs go hard as hell.
They do, especially because they usually try to stay with more comic. Well, Marvel, within more recent years, they have some comic accurate suits, but they, like Trent said, over design after that. And it can really lead me to be like, it's too busy. The suit has way too much going on.
There's a video from a channel way superior to ours called Brown Table, and the main guy talks about how the over-designed barber. I'll link in the description below so you can check that out and give that man some love. He does a good job on his videos, so be sure to check him out. But the suit fits. In comics, he has like the open mouthpiece.
Yeah.
But this one, it makes it a little bit more sense. I guess you could say realistic standards, because you don't want an open mouth section, and I think it would just throw people off of it. So having it closed off would kind of just works. Yeah. And like we said, the powers this thing has is just amazing. How they portrayed the Scarab's power was like comic book on screen. It was perfect. The fight scenes are engaging. There were some parts in the fight scenes that got a little too fast and I didn't get to see the choreography. It was a little harder
to follow.
You can't really enjoy the choreography very well, because that's my thing when it comes to fight scenes, especially in superhero movies. I think Shang-Chi did the best in terms of choreography with CG. It was cinematography was perfect. The fight scenes were perfect. But Infinity War also, like, You can do these good CG fights with great choreography if you do it right, and good cinematography. Blue Beetle does have great choreography, but sometimes like some of the camera cinematography at times kind of messes with it. I know it's supposed to give off like it's high octane. You don't know what's going, like it's chaotic, but you can measure that chaos a little bit better so we can enjoy the fight. That's what Black Adam did very well in my opinion.
It did.
Except for the final fight. Final fight got a little off.
But
Besides that, it was fun. It was fine. Cinematography was pretty good in this one. I like the opening scene introducing Jaime and stuff. I thought it was great. Classic blur out to focus was
and
perfect.
also the kind of classic like early 2000s or spy film where it zooms in on an area and then you've got the gigantic bold letters of where they are, whatever country or city they're in.
And it wasn't like, and the cool thing about when they do a reveal, it doesn't like kind of hit you in the face too much. Like, hey, look at this point, look at this point. Like a lot of movies do, but this one was the cinematography on this one was pretty good. It was all right. I mean, it's not to the Batman standards, but
No.
But this one was really fun. As Trevor said, the acting was a great staple. Again, the main lead was fantastic. He breeds Jaime Reyes.
For this being his debut film role, of course he has 4 to 5 seasons under his belt of Cobra Kai, and
as a debut superhero role.
He did really, really good.
And congratulations, man.
Yeah, you were probably the best part in the movie. We got a few. There was a lot of other actors.
The actress that did the main villain, she did great.
Great.
Yeah,
she did great.
I hated her, so that's all.
Yeah,
she made me hate her.
She actually went on, I think, on an interview saying that she like represents like the theme of the idea of imperialism through the idea of democracy, something like that, and you can definitely see it. For the sacrifices must be made for the greater good,
which she says a lot.
She says that like every 5 minutes, and I feel like, dude,
we get it.
It's like when she starts talking, I'm like, let me guess, sacrifices must be made for the greater good.
We got it. Spock said that once.
Yeah, just we get it.
Said something similar. Anyway, she did an amazing job making
a
very hateable villain.
I want to throw her out a window.
Yes,
but the actor that did the second villain,
the main enforcer Omak, which is I think a Blue Beetle villain. I don't know exactly, but he does a great job. He's intimidating. His voice in the suit is
really good.
I love the reverb.
Really menacing.
As you know, he's the main enforcer, so most of the fights with Blue Beetle are kind of
him. So you can consider him the main villain, but
he's the physical threat.
Yeah, he's the physical. While the lady is the main mind and overarching part of the movie.
I actually forgot the main villain's name. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too.
We're trying not to forget on purpose.
Yeah, they say her name every 5 seconds. I'm just. Wait, who are you again? But obviously, one-off villain, you don't really care.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Jaime Reyes family.
The Reyes family were colorful. I guess I'm not gonna say stereotypical Mexican family, but they gave off the energy of a stereotypical Mexican family. You could feel the love, the chemistry. All of them have a role, and they're all hilarious, and they're all great. You have the head father, who's the main head of the household. You have the wife, the awesome uncle that's just there.
The sister and
Nana, the mysterious Nana,
the grandma. Who you don't piss off.
She is by far one of my favorite parts of the movie, besides Jaime, because she's so relatable in so many other ways, and she just breeds natural energy. Power in the movie. Power outage goes out in their house. First thing, she just turns on a lamp. I think it's like a little little neck light or something, or that isn't connected to the wire or something. She just flips it on, continues her thing. I'm just.
Yep.
What? Thank you.
And honestly, my favorite would be George Lopez.
George Lopez was great in this movie. He's the awesome uncle. If that didn't tell you enough.
Yeah, he was one of the great parts in the movie.
I liked him, but the other characters kind of outshined him in some ways,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
opinion, at least.
Yeah.
The main love interest, we all know it's the love interest.
Yeah.
The one that gave Jaime the scarab. It's a comic book movie. We know
you
this.
got
But she was great. There was a lot of cool references to the previous Blue Beetle in this
Yeah.
one. So you're gonna get, if you love Blue Beetle as a character, you're gonna get some great fan service.
And
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised at that because I know some people were like a little mixed that it seemed like we weren't going to get anything, that Jaime was the first Blue Beetle, when in comics
He was like, I think he was the
he's
third.
Yeah,
Blue
third.
Beetle, because like in the movie you've got Ted,
He was
is
the second one.
Who's the second one? And you've got the one before him who
I forget his name.
I forgot his name too.
But
He was the first one because the scarab attached to him. But the second one, the scarab did not attach to him because he was not chosen.
he made his tech, so
Yeah.
he became Blue Beetle Batman.
Yeah, basically. And they even kind of make references to that.
Yeah.
And then George Lopez says the line that I'm like, with that Batman's a fascist.
He doesn't have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batman doesn't have a sense of humor. Yes, we know
He's
that.
the dry man, so that's what makes him funny.
Yeah, everyone else is funny, and he's just really.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I mean, the game Gotham Knights really showcases that
Yeah.
chemistry.
But
But there was a lot of cool fan service, and I was surprised at that. I'm like, hey, I know this.
Yeah.
yeah.
They name drop like Superman in Metropolis, Flash in Central City, Batman in Gotham, yada yada yada.
So it like solidifies that their other heroes are there, because something that James Gunn confirmed is that this movie is disconnected enough from the old DCEU that it could be considered the first movie not made by him or under his supervision for the DCU that he's
the
creating.
new cinematic universe.
That DC cinematic universe.
Yeah.
That's too many C's.
Yeah, DCCU.
Hey, we should tag that though.
Yeah.
DCCU. But that was a thing I was gonna bring up, is that it's disconnected from the DCEU just enough to be considered. So technically, he's the first character of the DCU, but not the first movie.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Because
Just by saying it, because Superman Legacy is going to be
the first film within the DCU.
And we'll bring up another thing when we talk about when we do our Flash review.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a lot of cool things in this movie. What else was I going to say? There's no post-credit scene in this movie.
Yeah,
There's a mid-credits,
Yeah.
just like little thing, and it's like, oh, hey, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But no actual post-credits.
Yeah.
At least from what we've seen. Because we tried to check, didn't say anything. If there was, we probably missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not really going to care.
Mm-hmm.
But post-credit scenes at this time, these days, are just kind of there.
Yeah, they're all right.
They're there. So, this film was very fun, but it was not perfect.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into it. The first two because everything kind of goes in acts of 3.
Yeah.
Like your standard play is like 3 act. Well, it's 2 acts, but whatever.
And most films and shows follow the diagram we all know: rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. And this does kind of follow that too.
Yeah, we got our first 2 acts out of the 3 are pretty solid. They're kind of an incline of quality.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say quality, but they're really solid. They're cohesive. Third act kind of does a couple
it's
things.
jumbled a little bit.
It does one plot line, then another plot line, and it kind of just does random things to to I guess pad out the runtime. This is a 2-hour 7-minute movie. I guess they decided to hey, let's just do this thing.
I would say pad out the runtime and also kind of close other storylines within the film. For those storylines specifically, which we might get into later, it felt like that they didn't have enough time to actually pad them out, so they were like, all right, let's get them done and over with so the movie can end, type of thing.
Yeah, and the third act, sadly, kind of, because the movie kind of goes into a little incline, then it kind of just stagnates. and it just stays there for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So one of the main bad guy, Omak, we'll just say Omak. So he's the one that's kind of the sympathetic villain because he had a mother died when he was young thanks to evil ladies' machinations,
Weaponry.
Yeah, and he becomes this, loyal lieutenant, yada yada yada, standard stuff. And because Jaime believed he accidentally killed not accidentally, he killed his uncle, who didn't. George Lopez stays alive because it's George Lopez.
Yeah.
And Jaime wants to kill this guy. Actually, does a whole anime charging in thing.
And will try to kill him.
There are a couple of anime references.
I wouldn't say they're references, but as
anime
fans, we kind of saw that. Like with the great scene with the big sword that Blue Beetle makes.
Like
he does. Yeah, it looks like Cloud's Buster Sword, and he does a front flip attack, which is reminiscent of Guts with the Berserker armor.
Yeah. But anyway, the final act gets fucking dark.
We'll get into it, okay? And Jaime beats up this guy, Omak, tries to kill him. The Scarab stops him because that was going to be a thing. They brought it up because in their first fight, Scarab wanted to kill Omak, but Jaime stopped him.
Because Jaime said he doesn't want to be a killer.
Yeah, and then in his anger tries to kill the dude. Scarab stops him, says we don't want to be killers. Yeah, and apparently during a thing where you get a data transfer because the OMAC system was prototype and wasn't perfect, so they used Blue Beetle Scarab to get the code, and through that data transfer, the Scarab found out about OMAC's memories, and we get just this neat little flashback about his upbringing, about how he lost his mom, became this lieutenant. And that solidifies it. He doesn't kill him. Says that my family's strong. It makes me strong because Omak earlier in the film said that
love your family makes you weak.
Yeah, it's a weakness. And the classic, no, it doesn't. It makes me strong.
Yeah.
And while they're leaving, because of their new mutual respect, you could say, Omak gets with Evil Lady, rendezvous. And she's like, kill Jaime. And he decides to overcharge his reactor, drag her into the exploding island that they were on.
And basically a kamikaze.
And he nukes himself because the reactor is that powerful.
That's how they kill off their antagonists. And I'm just like, I mean, great on them because you don't really see that much in, especially superhero movies, that when they kill off a villain like that, and just like
the villain is usually killed off by accident.
Or like it's a meaningful kill, but it's like one of those slow deaths. Especially if they're a sympathetic villain, it's a slow death. But this one, the
dude just nukes himself.
Yeah, he grabs the lady, drags her into the flames, and boom.
Yeah, because they were on an island and they kind of blew it up to save. Earlier, okay. Just so people aren't confused, earlier in the film, Jaime got captured, hence data transfer thingy. His family comes in with the Blue Beetle car. Ship thingy.
It's a ship, yeah.
And they do their great family rescue with the walking beetle ship, and it stabs a dude.
Through the chest, and like straight up, you don't see it anything like fully.
But for a PG-13, it's like...
you see it pierce through him, like it's through his body.
And they make a joke about it, and because there's, Motley Crue playing in the background. Yeah. And it's like, oh my. It's a great sequence. It's a great sequence. But if you actually just look at it without all those themes or the great soundtrack, it just looks like a massacre. It just looks like a homicidal family.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on homicidal family with Nana.
The grandma, apparently, she came up with the plan to save Jaime from this fortress of an island.
Because she was a revolutionary soldier.
apparently, and if you know the trailer, she has the minigun, and she mows down like 5 dudes.
Yeah.
And she yells out in Spanish, "Death to the imperialists."
Yeah.
And Jaime just stares at her.
I feel like that was improvised or something.
It has to be improvised. There's no way he reacts like that. Just
it felt too real.
Yeah, if I saw my grandma just shoot a minigun shouting "Death to the imperialists," I'd probably be speechless too. I'm like, damn, grandma, what did you do?
What have you been through?
It's like your grandpa's Rambo, and you don't know nothing about him. He just shoots an arrow at dude. You're like,
oh my god.
What have you done?
The only time I could show like blood was one guy getting killed by Olmec from behind.
But it's behind a door. Color they censor it cleverly enough to get past that rate get it through. But then Jaime and Olmec gets in that big fight. We have that revelation. And he nukes himself. Family escapes. Happy ending. Yeah, it sounds really dark when I say it.
Yeah. But
that's
just how it kind of ends.
Nuking yourself as the bad guy is something that I would have expected. But damn.
Yeah.
It just, man, it took a whole new meaning.
It did.
But so yeah, and then it's classic family, like, survives, they rebuild, they move on with their lives. And that's the main theme with this movie is family matters, and family is what makes you strong. And there was a couple bit of messaging about the loss of jobs and like the poor and the rich, and especially in, like, for the the Hispanic demographic. There was a bit of messaging there, not so much so that's like, oh, it's woke, but I'm like, okay, all right. I'm I guess
it makes sense within the context of the film.
Yeah, they got that out of the way.
Yeah, and it didn't overstay its welcome. I'm like, fair, that's fair, and. But family matters, and that's what makes you strong is the main theme of this movie. Thankfully, it's not as like obtuse and obnoxious as Fast and Furious. I've never seen any of the movies, but if your one thing is memed to high hell, family, then you must say it a lot.
Yeah.
And for 10 movies, dude.
11 technically because of Hobbs and Shaw.
But that doesn't count.
I know. Because that's the only good one.
Alright.
I wouldn't know. I never saw them. From what I'm told, the first 2 are like goated and you should ignore the rest. But that's just what I was told. But I don't know. But that's the main theme of this movie, and it works for Jaime's character. It works with the context of the movie. And besides the messy third act that kind of just goes all over the place. It's chaotic, it's fun, but it's chaotic. And would have liked it a little bit more streamlined throughout. But
now, one thing I will say is the Blue Beetle, the film feels a lot more cohesive than Black Adam.
Yeah, this is a thing I forgot to bring up in our Black Adam review like last year or something. But rewatching Black Adam, there was the third act is actually just the whole movie kind of it goes in too many directions. You have too many plot lines going on. You have Black Adam's story, then you got this Justice Society coming in, then you have the whole subplot with Sabac's crown and stuff like that, and it's just it just goes in too many directions for no reason. And this will be a video project out, and something that I will announce right now is our hypothetical rewrite of the DCEU and how it could have worked better.
Yes.
But that will be for another time. And yeah, just want to announce that at least. But this one, Blue Beetle felt a little bit more cohesive, as he said.
Yeah.
Just more straightforward. It was the theme
was easier to follow.
Yeah, it was easier to follow. I should say that. Why am I trying to sound smart?
Yeah.
And it just it works in this movie's context. So, what would our ratings be? I'm going to give this movie a solid 8. This was a pretty good movie, and
Yeah, I am inclined to agree.
The third act kind of jumbles, but it's not so egregious that I'm like, this ruins it for me. This ruins it for me.
And something I can also say for the third act is, it doesn't end with a massive CGI army fighting the main character.
Thank the lords of movie
Most
making.
of the bad guys were actual people. They weren't like random CG army attacking. It was actual soldier archetype characters with guns shooting, and then the main big bad in his big suit of armor. Which, I mean, they were both CG for the fight.
But it wasn't so like
in your face that you could tell, because that's one of my issues with Shang-Chi. It's final act the final fight between Shang-Chi and his father was great, fantastic. But then it goes to the CGI monster fight,
the Great Devourer and all its little minions,
and that was very Marvel, like MCU after Phase 3.
Just
Marvel.
Come on.
I think the final fight in that movie, it brings it down a point.
Yeah.
Because it feels like the Marvel execs were like, hey, we gotta have a big CG fight with a bunch of stuff going on. Well, wouldn't it make more sense to
Just
leave it
end it with them two
with
fighting?
Just put a giant monster fight.
I feel like it made more sense to...
Just put a giant monster fight in it.
Okay.
But it would make more sense if we just had thematically.
I don't pay you to ask questions.
That's what it feels like with Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm. Especially after Phase 3.
But that's another topic for a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But Blue Beetle, solid 8 out of 10. I recommend it. It seems like both critics and audiences are agreeing with each other.
At least for
once.
right now. We'll see how it goes, because I know that for some movies they like fluctuate up and down.
They kind of go all over the place. But it seemed like an opening day with... no, not opening day. Is it opening
It
day?
is opening day.
Yeah.
Oh, it is opening day. I'm
Yeah, it's
dumb.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
dumb. But it seems like audiences and critics are agreeing with each other. And Rotten Tomatoes, I know people shouldn't trust them, so I'll use IMDb.
They have a 6.9 rating from...
I thought it was a 7 last I checked.
It's a 6.9. I checked it.
And Rotten Tomatoes is a 77, so it's above average to good.
Mm-hmm.
And critics, 95. No, not critics. Audiences are 95%.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't rank it that high, but definitely it's a solid like 80%, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Go watch it. And I'm not gonna say this is DC's comeback because I didn't want to make that I didn't want to make that assumption because
we did that with Black Adam.
Black Adam, and again rewatching it kind of.
Especially after the loss of Henry Cavill and the change for the DCU.
That kind of ruins it.
Ruined Black Adam as a whole.
So new rating. For Black Adam, I think I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably just gonna knock it down to a 7, maybe. No, I'm gonna be a little bit more harsh. It's a 6.5.
Yeah,
it's above average, not good. It's above average.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I'll give Black Adam.
Yeah.
I'll still rewatch it, but knowing how it all came to fruition at the end, it just makes you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a solid 8. Please go watch it. It's so much fun.
I would say this is a good start for DC to make its comeback, because I was upset with moving Henry Cavill off after having him come back, and I know that wasn't Gunn's decision to have him come back. That was Dwayne fighting for Henry and the executives being like, yeah, Henry can come back. He announced he came back, and then Gunn was like, I respect Gunn for wanting to separate from the old universe, but I have we won't really go over it, but I have some issues with him saying that and some of the decisions being made right now. But Blue Beetle is definitely like a good starting point for a comeback for the DC universe, because I love DC in the comics wise
and the animated stuff
versus Marvel so much more. And I just want to see that same respect that went into those projects for it in the live action department. And I do trust Gunn to do justice to the universe because, especially after seeing Guardians 3, he does do really good character work.
And if you want us to do a video on Guardians 3, please let us know. And if you don't, we won't do it. If we decide to, despite you saying no, that's on us.
Yes.
But if you want us to do it, we'll do it. Because don't want to say too much, but Guardians 3 was a movie.
It was good.
It was a good. How I said it sounds like
Wow. What'd you hate about it? No, I'm kidding.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Again, let us know if you want us to do Guardians. Oh wait, what was your rating about it?
My rating for Blue Beetle is about a 7.5. I'm gonna be a little bit more harsh because there was some parts about it that like kind of fell for me, but most of the movie was really good. I enjoyed every bit of it, well, almost every bit of it. My favorite parts were obviously Jaime because the actor, of course, and I really like Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes in the comics and in the Young Justice show, and it's just really nice to see Jaime get his movie debut and it be done really well, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say he's a side character in DC. He's definitely a good mainstay, but
you could consider him a side because he has his own storylines. But he's not like one of your Trinity or your Avengers. He's a good staying character, but he is still technically a side.
And for him for his debut movie, he did pretty well.
Yeah.
So, and with all like the Henry Cavill argument about and all the other stuff, we'll get into it in our Flash review. And we'll talk more about details on how we were going to do our hypothetical.
We'll mainly talk about our issues with what's going on with Gunn, the DC Universe, in our hypothetical for how the DC EU could have been done better.
Yeah.
And
in our eyes. In our eyes, so we don't want to sound pretentious or anything.
Like, our way is the right way. It does not matter.
No, you're going to start a war now.
All right, and?
Okay.
But,
okay.
So yeah, you said 8, I said 8, 7.5. Go
yeah.
watch it. It's worth your time.
Yeah.
But despite that, it's pretty good. And we'll release this video tonight of opening day, so you guys can watch it. And yeah, in our next, we have a couple projects. We watched the Last Voyage of the Meter, like we said, The Flash. And Guardians, so we'll do a couple videos.
We've got a good chunk of videos planned.
We have a. I'm not gonna go over the whole list.
There's too many.
There's a lot of arbitrary ones that I don't see a lot of people talking about. So
and some like project videos that we're gonna work on.
Yeah, so that will come in time with computer skills and knowledge that I do not have at the moment.
Yeah.
But one, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of us three dumbasses doing videos on this. Yes. And this is coming from a college student. I'm a dumbass.
And yes, we'll get to Berserk.
Yes. If you can't, we have that planned. We were going to try and do the plan with a big volume per month, but stuff happened and kind of got sidetracked from it. Yeah. But it is coming. That'll be more of our big projects.
Yeah.
Let us know if you want us to do it a big volume, which is just 3 volumes in one per video. If you would like to see those, or would you want us to just do a big discussion over Berserk as a whole? We're okay with regardless, but please let us know in the comments what you think about that one. And
also, definitely, I would like to if I go see this movie. Also, for the fact that a lot of the not just superhero movies, but DC movies have been really bombing in the box office, which some of them deserve it. But I think Blue Beetle deserves a little bit more respect because it's definitely a lot better of a movie than a lot of superhero movies in general, and especially the recent DC. Well, we'll talk about it in our reviews for like Flash, because we actually liked it a little bit more than a lot of other people did, but we still had our problems with it.
And we'll talk about it when the time comes. And so again, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of this, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Later.
See ya.
Bye.